Hello, my name is Jodine Mayberry, and I am the legislative advocate for the League of Women Voters of Central Delaware County. This PowerPoint is intended as a tutorial about how to find and read a Pennsylvania bill. I'm also going to tell you a little bit about League of Women Voters legislative advocacy. Don't worry if you can't take it all in. This PowerPoint will be available on our website, LWV-CDC.org, to review at your convenience. This is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law in Pennsylvania. It is very similar to the process in Congress for federal bills. Each house of the legislature has its own committees. For example, an election bill will go to the state government committee. A school funding or education bill will go to the education committee, and bills to change our criminal laws will go to the judiciary committee. Bills are introduced by a sponsor and any number of co-sponsors who agree to back it. Sometimes the more co-sponsors, the more likely a bill will be voted out of committee. The committee chairs wield a lot of power. Usually only they can decide to hold hearings and a committee vote. There is a discharge process to get bills out of committee without the committee chair's consent, but it's an onerous process. The majority party always has more members on each committee than the minority party, so it controls the vote. Once the bill is on the floor, the House or Senate votes on it 3 times. The first 2 votes are usually by voice vote and are just recorded on the bill docket as passed on first consideration and second consideration. Sometimes legislators use these votes to propose amendments and changes. On the third vote, each legislator's vote is recorded. Bills can be tabled or sidelined on each consideration and brought back to the floor later. Once a bill is through both houses of the legislature, it can be signed into law or vetoed by the governor. Sometimes even when a bill is voted out of committee, it is sent to another committee where it can be bottled up. Bills are often sent from a committee or the floor to the Appropriations Committee to determine how much a bill might cost taxpayers. Constitutional amendments must be passed in the same wording in 2 sessions to put the amendment before the voters. The governor cannot veto a ballot question. We are all aware that both in Washington and Harrisburg, special interests spend tremendous amounts of money on political donations and lobbyists to either promote their interests or oppose bills to regulate and restrain them. Some of Pennsylvania's most prominent special interests include the fracking and natural gas industry, the pipeline industry, insurance interests, charter school developers, hunters, and healthcare providers. Gun safety advocates, environmental groups, and good governance groups like the League of Women Voters, Common Cause, and the Committee of 70 are special interests as well, though they usually lack the money and lobbyists to be very influential. Often when you have a very narrowly divided legislature, like now with a 1-vote Democratic majority in the House and a Republican-dominated Senate, a bill passed in one House will be sent to a committee of the other house where it just dies. An example of that are the 2 gun safety bills that the House passed last year and are languishing in the Senate Judiciary Committee. These are House Bill 1018, the red flag bill that would create a process by which firearms could be removed from at-risk individuals, and House Bill 714, which would close the gun show loophole by requiring background checks at all gun shows to purchase firearms in Pennsylvania. The League supports these bills. A good example of piling on is SB 1, the bill to allow sex abuse victims a 2-year window to civilly sue their abusers. Republicans added 2 additional proposed constitutional amendments opposed by Democrats. As a consequence of this piling on, SB 1 has not passed in the second session, so it cannot be put before the voters. Campaign finance monitoring sites. You may wonder where you can get information about how the special interests fund legislators. The 3 sites listed below can help you do that. The Pennsylvania Secretary of Commonwealth Office is the main site for finding this information. Its campaign finance reporting website is difficult to use, but if you can manage to navigate it, you can learn about all contributors to a candidate listed alphabetically, from top individual donors to top industries for each campaign cycle in which the candidate runs. Open Secrets lets you take a deep dive into fundraising by each U.S. Senate and U.S. House candidate and incumbent, but it doesn't have much or any campaign finding information at the legislative or local level. Follow the Money lets you look at fundraising for PA House and Senate seats and gubernatorial and statewide judge races. This is the Pennsylvania Legislature's homepage. Get there by Googling PA Legislature. It contains a wealth of information. I have it as a shortcut on my browser because I might go there several times a day. It is a tremendous tool, but like anything useful, it can be a little complicated. I'm going to take you through the basics about how to use it. The PA legislative site lets you search for bills, sign up for notifications of hearings and votes, find any legislator, and receive daily updates on legislative actions. A bill labeled SB is a bill introduced by a senator, and one labeled HB is one introduced in the House. SR and HR bills are resolutions which usually involve action at other levels of government. For example, SR 65 is a resolution to be sent to the U.S. Congress asking it to enact permanent daylight savings time. It hasn't yet made it out of committee. You get to the individual legislators' pages by scrolling down on the left to the Find My Legislator section on the home page and clicking on the name for either the House or Senate. You then get an alphabetical list of legislators in either house. This is an example of a legislator's homepage. If you scroll down, you will find all of the contact information for Senator Kearney on the left side and a map of his district on the bottom of the page. Here are a few helpful features of the Pennsylvania Legislature site. Number one is the drop-down menu at the top that will let you go to the House or Senate or their committees. I have opened the House page here. Number two is the search box where you can search for specific bills. When you're using the bill search box, having the bill number is much more helpful than keywords, which may appear in many bills unrelated to whatever you're looking for. That's why I always include the bill number in any legislative advocacy reporting I do. But if you do not have a number, by all means search by keywords, and you will bring up a list of bills that contain that keyword. You will have to go through the list to find the bill you're looking for. The black box circled here is a cool feature where you can put your cursor on any hyperlinked bill number and get a brief summary of what it's about. Sometimes these let you instantly identify the subject of the bill, and sometimes it's just a citation to the law being modified that doesn't tell you much of anything. Double-click on the link and it takes you to the bill information page, which I will show you in a minute. We are still on the legislative homepage. Advanced search under the search box lets you search for bills in a myriad of ways, but is most useful in searching under a given subject, such as elections, abortion, firearms, or prisons. The login feature allows you to subscribe for free so that you can sign up for reports from specific Senate and House, state and House committees. You can receive daily reports every time these committees are in session, as well as reports on all floor actions. The reports will tell you if hearings or votes are scheduled on bills in committee, and the bill numbers of legislation introduced in those committees and voted out of committee. You can also ask for reports just on specific bills. I'm not going to show you the advanced search or subscription page here because they don't translate well to a slide, but they're both pretty self-explanatory. Subscriptions are free, but are required so that the software can send reports to your email. This is an example of a daily email report on a bill. This bill was passed by the Senate 50-0 and sent to the House Appropriations Committee, where it again went through the same process. Typically, first and second consideration are voice votes, but you may see individual votes recorded on second consideration when an amendment has been introduced. Bills can be amended or tabled at each step. The yellow line usually shows the most recent action. I have sometimes gotten 14 pages of these entries in a daily report because I'm following so many bills. When you search for a specific bill on the legislature page, the PA Bill Tracker tool takes you to this page, the bill information page. To read the bill, choose the word text on the left side at the top. And if more than one version of a bill is listed, here there are two circled in red, always choose the top version because that's the latest version and will include any amendments or additions or deletions. Choose history in the center to follow the bill's progress. The history will tell you where the bill is currently, how it fared in committee, and how it fared on the House and Senate floors. Choose votes on the right side to see how the committee members or the House voted on a bill and any amendments. This is the top part of a bill text. It will tell you the number of the bill, the names of the sponsor and co-sponsors, and the last action taken. In this case, the bill to establish a partial open primary election was introduced by Representative Maria Brown and has 8 co-sponsors. The last action taken on the bill was to send it to the House State Government Committee, and the preamble tells you what statute it would amend if enacted, in this case, the state election law. Each part of a bill is written to a specific protocol. If the entire text of a bill is new, it will be set in regular type. Gray areas and brackets specify parts of an existing law that are being repealed. New words being added to the bill are underlined. Struck out language indicates new language that is being removed from the after amendment, and all caps indicates how language being added after amendment. Sometimes you might not recognize how the wording of a bill would change the law. This is virtually the entire language of HB 714 to close the gun show loophole. It is language that would be removed from the state firearms statute to close the loophole. The grayed out language in this bill would accomplish that by simply canceling out existing exemptions for guns of certain barrel lengths. The bill also includes an amendment not shown here that bars undocumented aliens from purchasing guns. That part of the bill is underlined because it's been added after the original bill was submitted. You can always look up how to read a bill by going to this link on the bill information page, How to Read a Bill. I want to tell you a little bit about the League of Women Voters legislative advocacy work. The guiding principle for local leagues, such as ours, is to advocate for or against national legislation supported or opposed by the national LWV-US, and to do the same for legislation supported or opposed by the state LWV. In keeping with that, LWV-CDC just had a program with 2 local legislators to explore the dynamics in Harrisburg this presidential election year. In the last year, we've also had programs on gun safety legislation and school funding. You can find recordings of these programs on our LWV-CDC website and on our YouTube channel. We periodically arrange to meet and greet local legislators on Zoom or in their district offices to ask them about their positions on legislation of interest to the League. We publish action alerts from the state and national LWVs on our websites, in the Voter, and on Constant Contact. We also participate in lobby days set up by the State League or our partners such as Ceasefire PA. You can also find action alerts on our website as well, asking you to contact legislators to support or oppose specific bills. We can also advocate for or against legislation affecting our local area. For example, League members participated in a rally at the hearing in Chester about building a proposed LNG terminal there. This ends the PowerPoint. Thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions or want more information, email me at Jodine Mayberry at comcast.net.